What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It's your boy Nye. As always, we are hitting the YouTube channel again. We took it easy the end of Q4 in 2007, 2018, and it is the second day of January here. It's the third day of January for you, I'm guessing. And I got my man Trader Cobb on the line today. Trader Cobb and I have we met in Dubai a couple months ago. Had a really good time in Dubai. This guy knows what he's talking about in terms of technical analysis and trading. He's smart. I wanted to have him on so we could discuss what the hell's going on with Bitcoin and all these other coins. What's going on, Cobb? How you doing, brother?
Mate, I'm well, and thanks for such a flattering introduction, mate.
You're welcome. You're welcome, bro. You're welcome.
Yeah, look. As far as Bitcoin goes at the moment, I mean, look. First start, I'm a trader who trades technical analysis, right? So I don't do your typical technical analysis, which is your wedges, your triangles, your sloping trend lines. I don't use any of that. I sort of developed it over being mentored and working with good traders over the last sort of, I'm in my 13th year now, and I sort of took what I was doing in traditional markets and sort of applied it July of. I can't say last year anymore, can I? July of 2017 to this market, and because it's so volatile, as we all know that it's epic. It's just gone so well because your risk multiple stays the same, but your reward multiple is just so much bigger due to the volatility. So it's I know a lot of people in this market typically just buy, like go long. There's a huge opportunity to go short as well. And before the guns come out and people start shooting me down, people need to understand that to short something like Bitcoin, let's say, as a hedge against your portfolio, me shorting it is not driving the price lower because I'm using a product that is, it's a derivative of the underlying. So what that means, I'm not selling Bitcoin. I'm holding my Bitcoin. I've taken a bath with the rest of you guys, right? It's a opportunity to trade an asset class, which is the leverage product that is based on the underlying price of Bitcoin. And that allows you to make money in either direction. That's why 2018 portfolio-wise was pretty ugly for me, but trading-wise was really, really good. As we kick off the year, I'm just looking at my charts now. I mean, look, there's some positive signs, but we need to move out of. There's two lines that I've got on my chart right now: 43.85 and 36.76. We get through the high side, we're looking good for a bit more of a height to about $5,000 and maybe hopefully above. We go below, it'll be tricky, but it looks a bit more bearish at that point. But right now, it's just sort of doing its little sideways banger.
I dig it. I dig it. So I don't leverage trade at all. This is something that'll be good for my audience because I just never talk about it. I just don't do it. It's not me.
Yeah, cool.
But I'm interested in how you split your portfolio up. You said it's a really good year for trading, but a really bad year for your portfolio. How do you divide the two? What's your strategy there? What does it look like?
Yeah, that's a damn good question, mate, because we don't want people to get confused around the two. I know that some people will say, oh, I've taken this trade, but it didn't go well, so now it's an investment. Cross that off the list. That's not a good plan. An investment's an investment. You're looking at longer term periods, a trade to trade, and there's different criteria for each. So my investment portfolio, it sits over here and does its thing. I invest in projects that I believe in for years to come. Years to come. I'm not looking to take any money out of that.
How many years, man?
Like 5 to 10, really.
Oh wow,
5
okay.
to 10. That's the sort of, look, I will shift my portfolio if things aren't performing right. Like, you look at NEM now, it's down like 97% from like last year. So from this time last year, it's copped an absolute hiding. It's because they're not really doing a great deal. If I see that in the projects that I'm investing in, and look, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fundamental expert or anything close to it. Crypto for me, it's a new asset class to understand what makes it move. But when it comes to a moving market, that's what I am very good at. And that's the trading side of it. So I just keep them very separate, mate. One's long-term, one's income, one's short-term. So I have, with an account you've got basically your big two is BitMEX and Bitfinex. There's still, look, I'll be straight, man. Like there's still some issues around trading crypto with leverage. You've got to be real careful. You've got to trade markets that have got enough liquidity. And you don't want to trade too low on the time frames because of slippage. And what slippage is effectively, it's you might want to get taken out here, but there's not enough order, so you get taken out down here. And that just quantifies your risk multiple. That's why if you're trading with a really tight stop loss and you get taken out down here, it could be 3, 4, 5 more times the multiple of risk that you're willing to take. So I will trade things that are sort of within the top 20 or so for the most part with leverage. I much prefer to trade. I'll trade a larger volume position on, say, Ripple, Ethereum, Bitcoin, because I know that the books are deep enough. But yeah, it's a great market for trading. You've just got to be careful. Keep investments over here and you're trading over here. Keep them separate and have different strategies for each.
I like it. I like it. What's your I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but like
Sure.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. What like I think it's obvious that maybe it's not obvious, but for me, like I'm holding Bitcoin, I'm holding Ethereum. You know, I got a little bit of Litecoin. Those are long-term things. Those are 3 to 5 years for me. What about for you, man? Are you looking at other coins besides the top coins like NEM or some other altcoins to hold for that long, or are you just speculative as well of how long these are going to last?
Look, it's a good question, mate. I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are two that are in my portfolio that I'm very comfortable. That's the 5 to 10 year type thing, right? I'm very comfortable in those. So, of course, my portfolio is balanced, weighted heavily between Bitcoin, then my next biggest holdings, Ethereum. From there, I've got some Stellar, I've got some Cardano, and I do have some Ripple as well. I'm buying some more today, as a matter of fact, not for any reason that I see on the charts, just because it's pulled back to a point for which I'm comfortable to be buying it again. I was going to buy it before that big run up. I just never got around to it. I don't chase moves, so I let it go, and it's taken a couple of months for it to come back now, and I'm happy to invest into some Ripple. So there'll be a 3 to 5 year on some of those, like, you know, Stellar, Cardano, and possibly even Ripple. I think Ripple's probably got a good shot long term. It seems to be quite established. Now, I know that there'll be some people out there that are like, Ripple's the devil. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not so interested in the political side of it. I'm a trader and I'm an investor. And Ripple have done well, and they seem to be engaging quite well. I do assess what's going on with each project, not as in detail as what others would, because I don't have that experience that others may to go into the depths of the tech and all that sort of stuff. That's just not my gig, right? But Ethereum, Bitcoin, I'll hold longer. There are a couple of others that I have held that have taken a bath, but they're always smaller speculative type trades, or sorry, speculative type investments that are always a smaller part of my portfolio. So I'm pretty risk averse, and probably the riskiest market in the world.
Nice. That's awesome.
From a volatility point of view, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to do that. You know, I think that especially in the bear market, you know, like for me right now, like I think a lot of these altcoins are gambles. You know, I think that we are like, if you gamble on the right one, you'll probably do very, very well. But at the same time, if you gamble on the wrong one, you could lose a lot of funds, and they might go out of business. You know, nobody knows what's going on fundamental wise behind these companies right now. Nobody knows what's going on with how much money they have left, or how their development's doing. It's risky, but I think what you're saying is if you're picking the big dogs, and you know these guys who are continually communicating with their communities and have liquidity behind them on the order books, then it's probably a good place to trade, and probably a safer bet in terms of the investments.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head, mate. Right on the head. It's just always risk management. You know, it's always. And look, one of the things that I see, and this is probably because of the relative immaturity of crypto investors, and I don't mean that in a offensive way. I just mean it. You know, most people that are investing in crypto might not have invested in traditional markets, so they don't have that traditional market background, understanding of risk and what to look for and what not to look for. So again, I don't say that as a put down, not at all. It's just, it's a young market and it's a young group of investors, which I love that. But a lot of people I see say, oh, look, it's down 97%. So, you know, I'll buy it now. But they look for the ones that have fallen the most to look to fill their bags with, so to speak, which, you know, a discount's a discount if it's under fair value. And it's very difficult to know fair value in this market because we're not actually transacting for the most part. We don't have PE ratios. We don't have earnings. We don't have all these other things that we can look at. They're not public companies that we can access, right? So just because something's fallen a long way, it doesn't make it a good value proposition. It just might mean that it's crap and it's down there for a reason. So just be careful with that. Just because something's fallen doesn't make it a bargain.
Yeah, I think that's think that's huge, man. You know, we've seen these a lot of these altcoins specifically down 90, 95%, things like that. And people are like, wow, look at this. This project has good fundamentals. It could bounce back. But I think a lot of these won't bounce back.
Mm.
And I think that if I'm going to buy one that does bounce back, I'm going to wait until it's started to bounce back already so that I
Yeah,
have like
just wait for the
confirmation.
signs. You know, wait
Yeah.
for the signs. You know, that's the big one, man. Like, you know, people talk about technical now. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in technical analysis, and that's fine. I've 13 years strong doing it. I've built a career and I've raised two kids, well, raising two kids. Like, I'm not I'm not footloose and fancy free like you, mate. I've got a lot of responsibilities and have done for a long time. So, I have built a career around trading, and it's all been based on technical analysis, but it's structured, man. Like, we talk about, you just said then, wait until there's a sign of that, that token recovering, for example. What is the sign? Well, TA can help with that. You know what I mean? Like, it can really guide you in that sense. And then when it comes to trading, so that's just a directional change. When it comes to trading, I'm not the smartest dude in the room, right? And I don't claim to be, and I don't want to be. I'm just me, right? What I've just got written checklists, essential factors, bonus factors, 3 trading strategies. And the purpose behind that is because, I got a thing on my wall here that says, don't think. It's just 2 words, don't think. Because the amount of times that I think and get it wrong, because like I didn't take a trade because I think it can't go any further. And look, the market can and will go higher. The market can and will go lower. Don't think. So, I don't think. I work to the strategies that I know have been proven with me trading for nearly 13 years now. Take that element of thought. Take that what is it? If it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's got to be subjectivity. Take the subjectivity out of what you're doing, and then you can have clarity. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going, oh yeah, but what about you find yourself getting analysis paralysis, and that's not going to help you to develop and grow. So for anybody out there who's looking to learn, whether it be trading or investing, try and start to write down what your rules are, and then you can take screenshots or analyze and write down what you did or what you're doing. And then you can come back and revisit that in a week, a day, a month, whatever it may be, when that position investment trade is closed. And then you can measure it against the checklist that you wrote and decide for yourself in that moment in time, was I actually truthful with myself, or was there something in my subconscious that was trying to override my conscious to make me stuff up? Because your subconscious, that's what rules us, right? That's what rules us.
I hear you.
We think with our conscious, we think we are in control, but that puppy in the background from whatever it's, all of our history and life and everything, that's the big dog that rules us. So you've got to make sure that you don't think, and that you're focused on what's in front of you. So write it down and be focused. That's the biggest step, man.
I like it. I like it. So you were talking a little bit about your trading methods. I want to touch on that a little bit, what can you share with us, right? You said you don't utilize the triangles and all the other stuff that people may be seeing on crypto Twitter. What makes you different? Why don't you utilize those things? And what is your, what experience, the 16 years of experience, obviously you have a lot of experience. What in that experience has told you not to use those things and to use your methods, whether they're better or they're just more effective for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, experience is something that you can't buy. You got to go and get it. And look, I can tell you right now, like, I blew 3 trading accounts when I first started trading at 21, 22 in London, right? So this is the 13th year. I've been investing since I was 16, trading for the last 13. And, I went about it with the entrepreneurial spirit, which was, I'll just go and work it out. Unfortunately, I worked out that wasn't going to work out for me, and started working with. I went to a seminar, as a matter of fact, and they were selling these products. I spoke to some of the traders that were the back of the room, they were sort of coaches, and they're actually really good, because I ended up getting a job with them and sitting with them before my workday started and all the way through to the night. And the really, really good ones. And then after I left there, I went somewhere else. The really good traders, I always noticed that the charts were really clean. So they didn't have crap all over. It wasn't covered in colors and lines and this and that, because price action is the key, right? So you've got to simplify everything. And this is what I've done. Again, not being the smartest guy on there, I've got to simplify shit to make it work for me, right? You've got 2 options when you're trading. You can buy and you can sell. That's it. That is it, right? A candlestick has a point at which it opened, a point at which it closed, the highest point, the lowest point. It's either a buyer winning candle or a seller winning candle. So if you can just strip out all the crap and focus on what is, trying to take away the subjectivity as much as possible, it gives you a good basis. And that's what I've sort of developed my trading around. The other thing that I think is really important, I mean, I can tell you right now, I use the 10 period exponential moving average, the 20 period exponential moving average, and the MACD straight out of the box. That's it. You know, I will use Fibonacci when it needs to be used. But I keep things really, really clean and clear. Now, the checklists have between I think about 8 and 9 different essential factors, plus a list of bonus factors as well. And you have to have the essential factors met. Now, people will say, "Oh, you don't get as many trades." It's like, well, why do you want to have lots of trades? Lots of trades means lots of screenshots, lots of accounting, lots of reporting, lots of pain in the ass, and more risk on the table. I like to trade less and try and make more. So everyone's got to find their own way, of course, but simplifying things is really, really important. Always be thinking objectively, not subjectively. And that is the reason I don't use sloping trend lines, because I did use them. I used them for a number of years until my final mentor that I worked with, who probably taught me the most. Actually, I'll credit him with teaching me the most, definitely. Like just, you know, all the little 1% things that take you from someone who knows what they're doing to consistently making money. You know, I was using sloping trend lines and he goes, "Look, you keep using those, I won't mentor you anymore." I'm like, "Oh shit, all right, I will stop." Because I was like, "Nah, I know how to use them. I got this down. I get this. I've got this. It's all good, right?" And I got rid of them, and I realized my trading did change, because what I was doing is if it was, say you were taking a trade, it was bouncing off the trend line as an example, right? If it was close but not quite there, I'd just slightly move the line. And then it would touch. So what you were doing was, so what I was doing was I was moving my lines to give me what I wanted. Now, the market is like a dance partner, man. Like if you're dancing with somebody and you've practiced together and you're in the motion, you flow together, it looks wonderful and the whole thing goes great. You dance with someone you've never danced with before and neither of you know what you're doing. You're just dragging someone around the bloody dance. You look like an idiot and she's going to walk away, or he's going to walk away from you. You can't drag the market. You got to move with it. You've got to listen to her, understand her, be with her, you know, give her a cuddle when she's cold, and then she'll give you everything you want. But until you realize that you have to listen to her, you know, she's gonna make your life hard.
Cool. I like it.
That's my view on trading anyway.
No, I dig it. I think it's different. I think it's relative and things like that. And yeah, man. Like I said, I don't do TA at all. I don't leverage trade at all. So it's not really my arena. But I think that, I mean, I know that it's a large arena for a lot of people, and that's really relevant. So yeah, man. What are you looking at Bitcoin wise here, right? So I know that you said we've got these spectrums between about 3650 and I think it was 4350 or something like that, in the possible upsides and downsides. But on a more macro scale here, are you normally just like looking at this from the perspective of, okay, I'm buying and trading on the dailies and then maybe tethering up at the end of the night, or are you looking at this and saying, is the Bitcoin bottom in yet?
Oh, look, one thing I don't do in a downtrend, I don't pick a bottom. I'll pick a pullback point in a run up when there's a night, or even I'll pick a pullback point in the run down. But I learned very early on, it's, you know, trying to pick a bottom, it tends to just make your fingers smell. It's not real good. Like most people that are picking bottoms are wrong. I don't understand a lot of, like, you know, you got a lot of people on Twitter, right? And there's a lot of people that got a lot of people on Twitter, like hundreds of thousands of people, and they're trying to call bottoms and tops all the time. It's really not about the top and the bottom. It's about the chunk in the middle, right? That's where you make your money. It's the chunk in the middle. You've got to have an entry point. You've got to get out at some point, whether that be an investment or whether that be a trade. So long term for me, look, I've built the business, the tradercobb.com business. It's all about crypto. It's all about trading crypto, right? I've put a lot of money into crypto myself. So yeah, I'm pretty heavy on Bitcoin growing long term. One thing I can also suggest is that this is not uncommon for this market to have a 70% right now or 80%. To have a pullback like this, It's not uncommon.
Mhm.
This happens. This is the reason that I'm in this market, is because it does have these phenomenal moves. And I think, from a standpoint of helping other people, if all I can help them to do is know when to get out, to lock in profits, to move to Tether, or just send it back to your bank account, or however you want to do it, I think that's a really important thing. Because how many people held throughout the whole of last year? I did exit quite a portion of my Bitcoin around the $15,000 mark. I didn't get out right at the top. Again, the chunk in the middle, I started buying it around 3,000. So for me, I was like, that is like the all-time best investment over the space of a few months I've ever made. So I'm happy to take a bit out of that. We did. So once again, when it comes to how you do it, you've got to just have a way to do it. Long term, I'm bullish. Right now, I'm just waiting, man. I'm just waiting to see what the market. I'm just looking at it now. Just waiting to see what it does. I'm happy. I prefer it to go up because everyone does well when it goes up.
Mhm.
Makes me happy, makes my portfolio happy, makes my business happy. Everything's much easier when the market goes up. Unfortunately, it's since TraderCobb.com's been in inception, we've been going down. I can trade if it goes lower. I'd prefer to see it kick in a gear though, to save a lot of people the heartache. There's a lot of people hurting out there. So
Yeah,
yeah, long term, I personally, I'm in.
I dig it. I dig it. Yeah, I mean, I've been buying long for the long term. I don't really trade much in these markets. If we go into bull season, I might get back on the computer and sit there and make some trades. I'm not the best trader. I don't day trade at all, but I will swing trade and do things like that. But yeah, I think that we're going to see some interesting stuff happen over the next couple of years, and I'm excited about it. And I've already
Yeah.
been buying some Bitcoin. I'm already averaging in. I'm already stacking up some coins here at these 3,000, between 3,000 and 4,000. I like that range. It might go lower. I don't really know, and frankly, I don't really care. If it goes lower, I'll buy more. But I'm happy buying it into 3,000 and 4,000. I think in the next 3 years, I'm going to be very happy that I did that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, mate. Look, if you do want to get into trading, I'm happy to roll out the red carpet and give you access to all the courses and everything, brother. All you got to do is ask. I'll set you up with
Appreciate
membership.
it, man.
Man.
Appreciate
You
it,
want to get
dude.
into it? Let me know. It's all there for you.
Dude, if I just had the time, man, I definitely would. But
Dude, the 24/7 market, 365 days a year.
I know, bro.
Take
But
the
I,
time.
I like sleep, and I gotta run. I got a business to run. I got shit to do.
I hear you on that front, man. Those 14-hour days, they seem to stack up, don't they?
They do. They do. So tell the people, man, where can they learn about you? Where can they learn about your trading course? What are you offering the people? And yeah, let's just end it there.
Yeah, sure. Look, a couple of ways you can find out about me. You can jump across to the YouTube. You can go to my Twitter at Trader Cobb. Facebook is Craig Cobb. That's my personal, and there's a Trader Cobb company account. So just go Craig Cobb or Trader Cobb anywhere. The podcast is the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. So we've got the podcast that you were on, as well as the video that we did
Yep.
in Dubai. But tradercobb.com, that's COBB. It's not COD. It's not 1B. It's COBB for Bravo. And they can check everything out there. And look, we do a heap of free content, guys. So if you're following on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever, I do more free than I do paid. So you can you can sort of get the cut of my jib by listening to what I say, how I do things, looking at the charts, that sort of thing. And look, on any courses, if anyone does decide to purchase, we do have a 10-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. So if you get on and you go, this is rubbish, we'll just give you your money back. Just let us know. Like we're confident in what we do. We know we're good at it. And yeah, can't offer you too much more than that. So get to tradercobb.com. Check out what we do.
Hell yeah, man. Am I going to see you at some conferences this year or what?
Yeah, well, we actually, just before we came onto this, we're looking at the Hong Kong 2049 or 2029 or something like that. There's a couple going on there that we're looking at. But this year we'll definitely be doing some, but we've got a few other businesses that we're getting involved with at the moment. And as you know, if you do go to these conferences, call it a 5 days turnaround on a 3-day event, right?
Mm-hmm.
It basically chews up a whole week of work. Then you've got a whole week of editing when we get back. So you lose about 2 weeks in the business. So we just got to make sure that our team's in a position where we can actually just jump on a plane and go, right, you guys have got this. We're trying to get to that stage because, yeah, it's a lot of work, as you know.
It is, bro. It is. I get it. I get
What are
it.
you
Well,
doing?
running this business, it's going really well. Got a lot of clients I'm working with right now on the marketing side of things. Nobody knows this yet, but I'm launching a podcast very soon. In the next week, baby. It's going to be sick. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, a bunch of different stuff going on, my man. Just a bunch of different stuff. Traveling.
You got any shows booked for this year?
Yeah, I got one in. I just booked my first speaking gig yesterday. I'll be in Thailand at the end of February. I think I'm going to be at Hong Kong Blockchain Week as well. I think that's like the beginning of March. And we'll see what's good.
We're looking at.
We'll see what's good.
Yeah. So that's Juan Lee from Next Change. Good bloke, mate of mine now.
He's a good friend of mine. So he is. He's a good guy. He throws good events. He knows how to party. He knows how to throw it down. So.
Yeah, I met him at Consensus New York last year, and since we've kept in contact, caught up with him when I was in Hong Kong last. So that was the one I was just sort of saying to my business partner, Pino, going, look, let's make sure we're at that one at least.
Nice.
It's only a 9-hour flight. Well, I don't know. It's a long enough flight, but it's only one, so that's fine.
Bro, 9 hours is about half the time it takes me. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. But hopefully we'll see you there.
Hopefully, man. Dude, it's been good. Glad to have you on. Yeah, we'll have to do a podcast or something like that later. Talk a little bit more about your story and some other stuff as well.
We'll do the same when you launch yours. We'll do a switch swap and we'll roll it out to try and get a bit of exposure to both.
Sounds like a plan to me, dude.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for your time.
Good to have you on, man.
Cheers, mate.